Alright, I started my last build from front to end in the instructions. That's overrated. I just prefer to do my own thing. So I'm starting with the landing gear and the tail booms. ICM's plastic is very soft, a la old Airfix style, real soft. So when I cut parts off the sprue, I use the snips and then I clean off the bit that's left with the blade. So you be careful with this stuff, because it'll, if you get the wrong angle, you'll cut into it easily. It's very landing gear leg is very complex how it goes together. So you got this part in the bottom of the leg there goes in. You can't glue that yet, so you need to glue E6 onto, so that's got to sit in there. There's a couple of little tiny pins that sit in the recesses there. That gets glued to that, but you need to not glue that, so you can it's free to move. And then this is the next part. It took a while for me to get how it all goes together. It seems over complex and too many parts to me, but that might have been the only way they could engineer it. I know it looks like a weird system on the actual aircraft. That's clamps onto there, and you need to not glue that. And then you got this one that clamps on, so it's two halves everywhere. And just trying to get it all lined up. I didn't put it this way. I did this step. The other steps I didn't do how they said. I worked out where everything had to sit and then glued it, because I couldn't work out. I was worried about if you glue this piece in, once you glue that in, that stops. When this is all glued together, you can't move that anymore. And I wanted to make sure it was all where it needed to be. So basically I did it my way, so I know where everything was sitting where it was supposed to. Yeah, it's a bit, well, to me it seems over engineered, but mate, like I said, that might be the only way they could have done it. You've got, so this is the right side I'm doing, I think, and it says here you can, it's optional to drill out. There's grab handles on the boom. I've looked up this aircraft, and an actual image of the aircraft, it doesn't have them, but every one of these here in the call out, color call outs, it doesn't have it, but in here they've got it. So if you're building a particular one, maybe suss it out on Google, see if you can find a picture of it, because some of them have them by the looks of it and some of them don't. The one I'm doing doesn't have it, so I'm not putting them in. I don't think, or maybe I'm putting the gear leg in now, but I'm not. You might be able to do it after the fact. When I get this one together, I'm going to dry fit it all, make sure it all lines up, and then I'll see whether it was possible just to put it in, plug it in later on, because I don't like having gear legs hanging out during a build, because I'm prone to bump things off. And the other concern, although it's not a real big model, but soft plastic, I don't know how much weight it'd handle with the soft legs. No, I didn't look how much nose weight, and I'm not even sure they tell you about nose weight. I don't think they mention it, but I'd imagine that it needs it. Not seeing nothing there. I'll have another better look. So all the interior of the gear legs and that is white, just with the chrome on the piston part. So I'll dry fit all this and see what it looks like. Alright, we got this one together. It'd be easier to paint it, so if you're putting the gear leg on this section, paint the sides, then put it together. It's hard to, I put the gear leg to one side wall and it's hard to get in everywhere. I think you could probably plug that the leg in after, but I've done this one, I'm just going to do the other one the same way. There's another part that goes in there, that E9. It's a bit vague as to what angle it's supposed to be at, and I've just done what I think it is. It's not structural or anything, it's not holding anything, but it's hard to see where it's supposed to be sitting. But the bottom panel, so I just went, so that's bottom of the boom. I just lined up one side, glued it, then come in. You might need to push the side in a bit to get it aligned, and then I just really taking my time with this, because this is where if you don't get it right and you have to come in and sand along it, you'll lose the rivet detail. So that fit alright, and the engine cowl or the engine front section, there's a bit of a gap there, but I wouldn't worry about the spinner, should hide that. So you're supposed to leave that I can spin. I have glued it that it will, but I don't sit there spinning propellers. It goes in a cabinet and that's it. So I'm not fussed on that part if it doesn't spin or what, because once I put the propeller on, it sits where it is, where I put it. So this curve piece, which is a sealing of the landing gear bay, has let me see if the other one's here. What sprue was that on? There it is. It has ejection pin marks in it. I didn't worry about them because you're not really going to see them. One's recessed, the one's raised, which is odd. But that was the only two pins. The side walls, so that side walls of the gear bay have tabs on them that push into here, so it will be aligned, you can't get it wrong really. It's got, both sides have got the tabs and slots, holes to line it up, so that's alright. But that curve piece on top, when you look underneath, you can see there's like a gap. Now I'm not sure if that's how the real thing looks or not, but it's sitting where it sits. You can't make it any better. I've left it because, like I said, you can't really see it, but you might want to putty that to make it better, I guess. So I'm going to put the other one together, seeing I've started one. I still need to put the rudder sections, which are two parts, the exhaust, which is two halves as well. And I didn't put on so there's the cover part of the gear bay doors. There's a little cover that goes on there. I didn't put that on yet because that can go on later, actually. I should highlight that so I don't forget it later on. Yeah, so I'm going to finish the next one to the same stage, and then I'll see where I move to next. Alright, both the tail booms are together. The second one just was a lot easier because I knew what was going on with the positioning of all that landing gear. So this is just a dry fit to the wing. I put the wing together, as you can see, just to check it's they'll fit nicely. Just need to hold them as I glue them in, but that's looking good. The rudders, so there are two halves they're in. They fit all right. Oh, actually, I had to sand the gap in between the rudder. It was a bit tight on the tabs that came out on both ones of them, both sides. So the wing, you just start off with the lower piece. It's got two inserts at the back that have the holes for the control surfaces. You can only position them the one way out of the kit unless you want to mess around and modify them. Don't forget to drill your holes, which I didn't this time around. They tell you anyway, 1mm for the wing pylons, outer wing pylons. All these pieces fit good. Again, I'm really, when I glue them, I'm just taking my time making sure everything's lining up, because it's even though there's no raised rivets in that area, I just want it to be all sweet. These inner flaps, 3 parts. No problem, and they just pushed in. I glued them in. I just glued the tabs and pushed them in. There's no real need, because what I'm painting is all the one colour, so there's no need to keep them separate. The outer ones I've glued in, but there's small pieces that need to go on them. I don't know if they're static discharges or what, but they are. Where are they? 49. Those tiny little things, and I'm not putting them on yet because I'm sure I will manage to bump them off. So that's all good. Happy with the wing. So this is a loadout I'll have. I'm just using, so it's the Launcher 33, so the 2 rockets, and then the Launcher 68. So I've only glued the tubes together. I put the ends and the rocket heads in that in yet, and the drop tank. Now, the drop tank is not real brilliant with their panel lines. Alright, so there you got these hatches or whatever they are on it, or it might be where they refuel it. They line up, but the panel lines, they're not too bad on the top, but they're not perfectly square. On the underside, they are out, so it's nowhere near lining up on the underside, so I'm going to have to fill in so far back and then come in and rescribe it across just to change the angle. I don't know what happened there when they're in their tooling or what, but anyway, that's what it is. And I've thrown together a kit seat just so you can see. So that's the kit parts for the seat, and this is the resin one I'm using. So the kit one's not too bad with they've got the texture and the padding and that, but you don't have harnesses. So if you want to use the kit ones, you need to buy a set of harnesses for it, whereas these are molded in, and these are quick boosts, and they're not, I can't remember, they're not dear for 2 seats, but again, they're not bad. Or you can, if you're not fussed, do what I do, make scratch builds and harnesses just to give the effect that they're there. And that's not complete, that one. I've got to add parts of it. Yeah, it was just the basics of it. You can see they are different size, so no, bit different in the shape and that. So now I'm done all this, the rear end. Next I'll have to come back and start on the cockpit. So yeah, that'll be the next bit. Alright, I've been plugging along on the cockpit tub section. For ease of build wise, I've put in this sidewall and this bulkhead. It's the instructions call out to use this sidewall for your getting the angle right of that bulkhead, and I did a dry fit and it was a really tight fit, and I figured that best to glue it in now, otherwise if I paint them all separate and come in trying to force it, it'll make a mess. So I've put in that sidewall and that bulkhead, but the other sidewall I'll put in later. It's all aligned now, so it'll just sit in there. There is photo etch rudder pedals which I've used, but kit parts are obviously just plastic, and I've used them because I have them basically. I didn't buy it for this, I bought it for the that, but it's there. I used it. It's but this is something you don't really see, rudder pedals. The instrument panel backing is photo etch. So there's two. I'll just show them here. They're showing the. So there's two instrument panels for the rear section there. These two, and it's optional. I don't know which one I should be using, so I just picked one and went with it. I'm guessing it's different variants of the aircraft, but it doesn't say in the instructions or here what's what. It just says option. So that's folded photo etch. There is obviously the kit part. If you're using the kit part and you put a decal in it, I'm assuming you're using a photo etch backing, because this won't fit. This is the one I'll be using. I'm assuming that wouldn't fit into the kit plastic because the plastic might be too thick or something. So that's primed. Obviously I'm going to use Mr. Hobby Aqueous, the acrylic version, H57 aircraft grey. ICM have called out for the Tamiya equivalents, the XF80, which is, what does it say I'm looking at, royal light grey, which is very similar colour. I'm pretty sure US aircraft to that era used aircraft grey in the cockpit. So as the usual when you're using this sort of thing, you have to remove raised details. They've highlighted that because this set is both photo etch and the acrylic decals. The blue is photo etch, red you're removing, and then they got pictures of the acrylic decals. So there is a key over here for it all. So where it's red numbers is the decal parts, and the blue's photo etch. It's kind of all over the place. Seats I don't worry about because I've got resin seats. I've got this set which has got the resin guns in it, and I've had it that long because I had another Bronco and I had all the aftermarket. I forgot that in this set you get the exhaust, which I can use because I haven't done the kit ones yet, but you also get the intake area. But it's too late for me. I've already glued it in. But if you want to use it, you have to remove all the backing inside. But honestly, I don't, all you're going to see is that mouth. I don't really see the point. But I'll keep it for the other Bronco I've got. I might use it on that. So I put the one of the little pods, side pods together. I haven't finished gluing it yet. That's going to come down. These guns, so they're 3D printed. They just plug in. There's a hole inside there that they'll push into. That'll still probably, when I glue that, I'll need a bit of putty there, I think. And again, you need to drill holes for the pylons. There's holes there as well, but I'm just using the outer ones. So yeah, that had a few parts that needed gluing in, and a couple on this side as well. That's ready to paint. These Eddard Space is the brand. They're like, I've used Quinta and I've used the Red Fox Studio. These guys sort of are a bit different with their instructions. They reckon soak them in warm water to lift off the paper. But I'm not real confident of that, because then they tell you leave the deck on the water too long, it'll cause swelling and distortion. So that doesn't sound good. So basically that'll wreck it. And they have no mention of using CA glue to hold it down. They're saying white glue. And Mr. Mark Setter, which is Gun's brand of, so that's that one. That doesn't make it set, it makes it soft. It makes the decal soft. So I'm not fussed on using that either. Just that most of them are on flat areas, but this one here goes on that curved section there for the throttles, levers. White glue is never going to hold that down. So I'm going to probably try it with CA glue and see what happens. I can only wreck it. Just on a curve like that, I can't see how the white glue would work. And then there's what's that from? Oh, that's come off there. There you go. So you don't need water to get them off. I have to watch that. I don't lose any more. Yeah, so I'm gonna paint all the cockpit up, put it in this photo etch, and then I'll have a look how it all looks after the fact. Alrighty, so it's painted up. I've got these decals in, so I've just peeled them off. You saw before that they just fallen off the sheet of paper, so I've just peeled them off, glued them on. The curved ones I did use CA glue, and it appears to be working. I guess it's over time what happens, like down the track. That's your main instrument panel. So obviously a much better upgrade than the kit decals, or trying to paint them in yourself. I've put in the, so that's those resin exhausts. I mean, it's no, well, it is a saving time, because the other ones are two halves and then you have to clean the seam joint, and I think the veins inside are thinner on the resin ones. So I'm ready to glue all this together now. We'll see how that all fits along. I've got one side glued in, so the cockpit tub is glued to the starboard side, right side, and at the moment I've got a loose fit for the other side. I'm just checking how the floor section's going to go before I go gluing everything. It'll be the same sort of thing. It'll be like glue along one side, I'm guessing. It's going to be a bit fiddly, but I'll glue along one side, line it all up, so I don't want to lose those raised rivet details. And then come along the other side, and I need to check all that again too. Some areas on this kit parts have got flash here and there, so you need to clean that up so better fits. Alright, let me remove that. Oh, by the looks of it too, they got a weird system going on with the landing, the nose gear. By the looks of it, you have to glue, like the main part of the gear leg attaches to the doors, and you have to glue the doors on before you put the floor in, by the looks of it. And I don't think, you may not be able to avoid that one, so that's might be no choice there. So let me get this off. Alright. Well, I'm going to add nose weight. I can pretty much guarantee this thing will be a tail setter, even though they don't call for it. I've glued a bit of lead sheet in the side walls there. And I'm going to, I don't know if I'll need that much, but I'll take that outside and whack it on the cement path and flatten it. I'm going to glue that to the back of that bulkhead, and that'll keep some weight up the nose. You can't put it in here because you can see up in there when it goes in, that's your nose gear, so you'll see up in there. You can't really put it there, so you're pretty limited to where you can put it. But I think that big chunk on there, that should solve the problem. Like I don't know for sure that it is a tail setter, but I can't see it not being. You got these big tail booms, and the tail, the stabilizer goes on. There's a lot of weight going back there to counteract what you got going on the nose. Yeah, so I'll do all that and see how we go after that. Alright, this is all dry fit. I still haven't glued the fuselage halves together. Everything's just sitting on there loosely. I just need to check about the tail sitting. It's right at the moment, it's on the balance, so it'll tip, no worries. And that's without that. If I put that on, that'll definitely tip back. And yes, I haven't got the canopy on yet, but that's not going to make much difference. So I would definitely tell you, get some weight up there. So what I need to do is check a bit of again, this is really rough. Oh, it's not going to work. No. But yeah, I think that I'll have to put probably about that mount on just to bring it back around to the front. Alright, slowly plugging along. Alright, I've cleaned up the gun pods, sponsons, the seam joins, and I've put in putty and a couple of gaps that were there. I've cleaned up that seam join around there. I just need to put some primer on it to check for gaps. There probably will be a few. I've cleaned up, primed the booms, tail booms. So what I've noticed in so far are these little, all the antenna, and well, I've only done a few, but these little bits that have gone on, the slots they go into. So there's a recess where they sit. It's big. The recess is bigger than the tab on the part. That one's not too bad, but the recesses are a bit big, so some of them probably need some putty. I've also, even though the way they've engineered it with the flat panels and that, I don't believe that's natural panel line. So I've cleaned them up, take that seam joint out. Same as this one, that bottom plate section for the nose or the fuselage. I had trouble up from about here up getting it to be flush to the side pieces, so I've had to fill and sand and clean it up. I use CA glue, just it dries quicker. And same thing, even if I did get a perfect flush fit, I don't believe it's a natural panel line, and it didn't look right to me, so I've taken it out. So now that the panel curves up to here, to that side panel line, which is what I believe the real aircraft would have. So that's a choice you're going to have to make if you're building it, is do you just leave it or clean it up? Because this one's not too bad. The raised rivets are there, so they're on the side, they're not on the underside. So that bottom plate is all recess rivets, so it was easier to clean, easier to get at. But these ones I've got raised all the way around, so I had to get in between them. So I'd sand the panel in between the raised rivets to clean it up. So just need to be careful, that's all. Kind of, I've never built one of these before, so when this is times for me, you sort of think, oh, how am I going to tackle this section or that? Painting this, I think, will be painful because it's got the tail booms. So getting in between here and the boom, you can, but it'll be difficult. And this is where you start getting orange peel on that, with the vortexes of the airbrush. I'm gonna try, this is in my mind at the moment, I think I'll tackle it. I'm gonna glue the wing on because there's that seam join there will need cleaning up. I'm gonna paint that section and paint these off, paint that off, and then come in, put them in, and then glue it. Yes, I will have to clean up the join, so where the boom meets there, I'll probably have to clean it and respray it, but that's easy to get at than trying to get inside. So that's what I'm thinking anyway. I don't know. I've tried. I've looked at a few people's this kit, or not this particular library, but the ICM kit, and everyone just seems to put the whole thing together and paint it. But I think that makes it a bit more difficult. But I'll see anyway. I've tried to salvage that broken propeller. I said I was going to take one out of my other kit, but that's just robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's then when I get around to that kit, I'll have the same problem. So I've glued it, and I think it's squared up, but I'll see when I cut the other one off and compare it. I still don't know how that broke. It was like, even rejoining them, usually when something breaks, you can see where it broke from, and you can sort of align it. I couldn't align them, so I don't know what happened. Just my luck, I guess. Just I got this CA glue there to fill in that panel on. I'm going to rescribe that because they didn't line up. Oh, that's what I mentioned too. Now, which way do these go? So these, the gun pods, I was thinking I can paint them off and just glue it in later, but I think you can see I don't know if that gap looks a bit much to me. I think that'll need putty. So I'll probably have to glue them on. Same, this one's got a gap that just doesn't look right. Looks like it'll need that one's not too bad, I guess. So that's sort of even put the wing on. It can get the same. It's still a bit. It's not too bad, I guess, but a little bit difficult, but not as bad as doing the booms. So we'll probably glue them on, put the putty in there, and clean up. That lead weight I put in there, I showed you the last bit about the bigger one. I did that one and another smaller one, because I put the big one in, put it all together again, and it was sitting correctly, but it didn't take much. I tapped it and it fell back, so I put more, which hopefully now that will not be a tail sitter. But you will definitely need nose weight, because they don't tell you in the instructions, but there's no way that's gonna just sit, I don't reckon anyway. Alright, so you can see I've done another round of sanding there, so I think that's right now. I've rescribed it, put the rivets in because they're recessed on the underside. Now I'm going to start probably putting these pods on and that, and we'll have a look at, when I clean all that up, get it done, I'll have a look at how I have to start looking at the clear parts, how they're going to sit, whether I paint them on or off.